less. I don't know. I mean, it's. I mean, obviously, all the hype around the 500, all the media stuff we do, and you understand what it is going into it. But still trying to win at Daytona here is special. Daytona hasn't suited me too well the last few times I've been here. I've ended up on the flatbed, so hopefully we can just have a smooth night. We're in a couple points battles, you know, kind of in the regular season stuff that you try to beat those guys, and you're mindful of that, but also trying to win. So, like I said, I personally don't treat it any differently. I treat it as the same, you know, just as big as the 500 to me, this race, but changes a little bit up strategy-wise, you know, 400 miles instead of 5, and then, you know, this race, right, we're getting close to the playoff time, so you're going to have some cars that it's just that normal thing, right? Whether I really don't think this race changes much from whether it was the last cutoff race of the regular season or the second to last one. I think people are going to be pretty desperate, which that's what this race is, right? It gives a lot of people a chance to get in, so we'll see what happens.
We know the desperation of the guys that you'll be racing around. Can you feel the desperation and the moose in?
Oh yeah, well for sure. And you know it's coming. You know, so it's just about like kind of being aware. I try to put myself in kind of the setting, especially these places, is, you know, what's someone willing to do? Are they going to maybe try to get into a spot that's not quite enough room to get into, especially down at the end of the race? I feel like a lot of those guys that are like way out, that can't point their way in, I feel like, you know, in their mind it's just like, let's get to the end of this thing, let's try to win it, right? So I don't know if you'll see those folks make wild moves early in the race just because they know they have to get to the end. But in this thing, you have to kind of position yourself before the last pit stop to kind of be up front. Just hard to move forward. So, yeah, you know who's out, who's in. You know who's going to throw some Hail Marys, and that's just part of it. So but if it comes down to the end of the race, like, you're not going to bail. You know, you're going to stay in it, and whatever happens, happens. You just tug the belts a little bit harder and figure it out. But definitely at the beginning of the race, you kind of try to look at all that stuff and understand if it's kind of getting to a sketchy situation, I might try to fight another day.
When you like a racetrack as much as this one, Ryan, as you just said, but you've also acknowledged you've ended up on the flatbed here the last couple times, how do you not come here and feel bitter or jaded about a place that you love?
Yeah, I've just put in my mind at these speedways in general, like, you have to enjoy coming to these places. I know some people who just absolutely dread coming to speedways. Well, that's kind of a losing battle before you get here. So I've always enjoyed these racetracks. I understand that a lot is out of your control. I mean, the last 3 times I've raced here, I've gotten 2 out of the last 3, I've gotten hooked in the right rear and big hits, but it's just a part of it, and you just kind of understand it. Well, it wasn't really my fault, and you just kind of move on. And so that's why I always keep that in my head. It's just like, look forward to these places because I do enjoy them. I do enjoy the different style of racing that a speedway, you know, you need to do at a speedway as compared to other racetracks, and you accept it and look forward to it. So yeah, I try not to let past experiences sting too much because I feel like that's just like the mindset you have to have.
Yeah. Did you find out what happened at the end of last week? I mean, maybe you told us that it as Chase, but I'm curious, like, did you get any more kind of clarity or anything?
Yeah, the reason I said ask Chase is because he had a better view of it than me, him being in the middle. So I think, I mean, watching the replay, and he and I talked, we're fine, obviously, but like 6 to 9 and me, and we just kind of got tight. Like, the 6 was off the line a little bit, kind of got Chase tied up into me. Got me tied, and Chase and I ended up kind of hitting doors. But just 3 wide last lap, it just stinks that neither of us finished kind of where we should have, like in the top 5 or 6. But yeah, just tight racing into 1.
You guys have the added right rear fin this week on the Great Declan. Do you anticipate that impacting the balance of the car at all as you guys are going through the draft?
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what that's going to do. The only thing that I can personally think of it as changing is possibly the side draft on the right rear isn't going to be as big because you kind of have a fin blocking the spoiler, kind of like a left rear. Like a right rear side draft is more effective than a left rear side draft, and that's just because the fin. And I think that might be the case. That's the only thing that I can kind of think about before I even get in the car and we get drafting. As far as handling, I don't know. I'm not sure what it's going to cause. Maybe it's a little bit more side force, something more to lean on. But that's just hard to tell until you kind of get out there and see how cars react in the big pack.
How do you feel about this not being the last regular season race this year, as opposed to in years past?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really look at it either way. You know, it's important for a lot of guys who are outside right now that need a win. these speedways offer chances of people who might not, have had the opportunity to win at other tracks. This is a great opportunity for them to get a win and get in the playoffs. So I don't really think it matters too much. Last race, second to last race of the regular season, you're still going to have some big moves by some people at the end of these things, and that's to be expected. I mean, I do the same thing too. Of, maybe you're going to clear yourself by 2 inches instead of not, like in the 500. So I don't think it matters too much to me. It's still going to get pretty crazy at the end.
This is Custom Patch Hats. But what makes us custom? Well, that actually begins with you. We're just bringing your unique vision to life. No knockoffs, no lookalikes. Your design is one of a kind. We know hats, we know design, and we know quality. The proof? It's in our production. Hand-stitched with precision and care, with brands you know and trust. A one-of-a-kind patch deserves a one-of-a-kind treatment, all the way to your doorstep. It's how we keep it custom.
Steven Stump of Fronstretch.com here. Come back for more great racing videos, and if you like us, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.